This is the Drake Passage, the most dangerous sea route in the world, which humanity has been avoiding for thousands of years. Many believe that the primary purpose of constructing the Panama Canal was to connect the eastern coast of the U.S. with South America and the rest of the world via a shorter route. While this is true, it wasn't the only reason for building the canal. Another major reason was that ships wanted to avoid the 620-mile stretch between Antarctica and Cape Horn. This is the point where the Pacific, Atlantic, and Southern Oceans converge. But why is this area called the Drake Passage, and what makes it so dangerous that crossing it is still considered like walking through the gates of death? To find the answer, we have to travel back to the 15th century when a pirate named Francis Drake terrorized the entire Atlantic Ocean. At the time, the British and Spanish empires were competing for control of the world. Francis Drake wasn't an ordinary pirate. He had the direct support of the British Empire. With this backing, he attacked African cities, looted them, and captured people to enslave in Britain. The British were pleased with Drake, so they decided to send him to South America to challenge the Spanish Empire's control. The plan was for Drake to conquer cities and villages along the eastern coast of South America, enter the Strait of Magellan, and then attack settlements on the western coast to bring them under British control. During this time, he could plunder as many cities as he wanted. The British only cared about gaining control over the entire South American coastline. In December 1577, Drake set sail with 200 men on 5 ships. By April, he had reached Argentina, but dissent had grown among his crew. Drake responded by executing nearly 40 of his men in Argentina and abandoning 2 of his ships. He then continued with the remaining 3. After crossing the strait into the Pacific Ocean, a massive storm hit, and the 3 ships were separated. One ship, believing Drake was dead, returned to England. The second ship got lost in the Drake Passage and was never seen again. Drake, following the second ship, reached the edge of the Drake Passage but quickly realized that proceeding would mean certain death. At that time, no one knew what lay beyond this point, as world maps were not as advanced as today. Drake turned his ship around and headed back toward the western coast of South America, where he continued to plunder and eventually reached San Francisco. He didn't return to Britain, fearing that if he got caught in the Drake Passage again, he might not survive. Thus, this treacherous sea route was named the Drake Passage, as Drake was the first known person to bring a ship this far, or at least the first to live and tell the tale. Drake confided to his closest crew members that he believed there might be another world or an undiscovered island beyond the sea. What Drake assumed was an island was actually Antarctica. For thousands of years, humans speculated that there must be a continent here. The ancient Greeks referred to it as Terra Australis Incognita, meaning the unknown southern land, but no one had ever seen it. In the 17th century, British explorer Captain Cook set out to find this southern continent. After crossing the entire Atlantic Ocean and entering the Southern Ocean, he couldn't find Antarctica. On his return, his ship became trapped in the Drake Passage, and he narrowly escaped with his life. Cook never ventured into the sea again, even though he was considered the greatest explorer of his time. He had discovered New Zealand. In his journal, Captain Cook wrote that the risk of discovering the southern continent was so great that no human should attempt it. Still, the very nature of humans drives them to explore the unknown, even when warned otherwise. This became even more true in the 20th century when exploration fever gripped the world. In 1914, the famous British explorer Ernest Shackleton embarked on a mission to explore Antarctica. As he crossed the Atlantic Ocean and neared the Drake Passage, the massive waves trapped his ship in ice. Shackleton dropped some of his men off on the ice and, with 5 others, set out in a small lifeboat in search of an island where they might find help. After a month of drifting at sea, Shackleton finally reached South Georgia Island. Reflecting on the experience, Shackleton wrote that this was the most dangerous part of the world's oceans, and his survival was nothing short of a miracle. He also remarked that exploring Antarctica was humanity's last great journey. After 3 months and 3 attempts, all of Shackleton's crew was rescued, and miraculously no one lost their life. Similarly, in April 2012, a Brazilian businessman named João Lara embarked on a luxury cruise with 4 people to film a documentary in the Drake Passage. However, the stormy sea sent waves as high as 100 feet, throwing their ship onto Antarctica's ice. Luckily, their radio was still functional, and they quickly sent a distress signal to Chile. In the last 10 years, many such incidents have occurred in this area. Although modern ships have reduced the frequency of such accidents, ships still avoid passing through the Drake Passage. Most prefer the narrow Strait of Magellan, even though its weather is highly unpredictable with frequent fog. Before the construction of the Panama Canal, all commercial ships passed through this route to reach western South America and North America. After the canal's completion, this route was largely abandoned. But soon ships may start crowding this passage again because the Panama Canal is now in danger. So, what threatens the future of the Panama Canal? Well, that's a topic for another video. The Drake Passage is one of the world's final no-go zones, yet it's also crucial to our planet. As Antarctica's ice melts, the water flows through here into the world's other oceans. The Drake Passage serves as a reminder that no matter how advanced our technology becomes, we are still powerless in the face of nature. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. Your small support motivates us a lot. See you in the next video with another interesting topic. Take care.